Dear students, friends and my colleagues, today's my topic is fats and importance in cultivable, fin and shell fishes. This fat is very important in the fish diet next to protein, so we'll discuss in detail. So dear students, lipid is next most important organic compound for the fish diet. The first most important nutrient for the fish diet was the protein, and the lipid is the second most important. In general, we use the term lipid regarding the fat requirement of the fishes, but many times we use fats and oils. So lipids, fats and oils, they are all synonyms. The main purpose is to supply the fat in the diet of the fishes, and its main role is to supply the energy as well as the essential fatty acid. In general, the broad term used is lipid. The lipid includes the fats, phospholipids, sterols, waxes, sphingomyelins, and fat-soluble vitamins. Usually, fat is solid in the room temperature, and the oil, they are liquid at room temperature. So that is the major difference between the fats and oils. Now these lipids, they contain more than 2 times energy than the carbohydrate or the protein. Thus the fats, these lipids, they are the very dense source of energy, and they must be supplied in the diet. These fats, when they are used in the diet, they spare the protein requirement of the fishes partially, because if the fat is not there, if the energy is deficient, then the protein will be diverted for the energy production. And secondly, these lipids, they are the biological carrier of fat-soluble vitamins. As the name indicates, vitamins which are fat-soluble, they require lipid, they require fat for their absorption in the body. So they are the carrier for the fat-soluble vitamins. These lipids, they are the essential source of essential fatty acids, which are really very, very important for the normal growth and the survival of the fishes. These lipids, they are the stored form of energy, as I have told. They are the dense form of energy. They contain more than 2 times energy than the carbohydrates or the protein. Besides the source of energy, besides the source of essential fatty acids, these lipids, they are also an important source of phospholipids. And these phospholipids, they act as the part of the cellular membrane. They are the constituents of the cellular membrane to maintain the integrity of the cell, and thus they are very important. Besides the phospholipids, these lipids, they also supply the sphingomyelins, which are very, very important for the brain and nerve tissue development. So for healthy fishes, sphingomyelins, they are also very important. And besides these lipids, they also contain sterols. These sterols are very, very important component, or they also act as a precursor for the synthesis of various hormones, especially the sex hormones required for the development of the fishes, for the growth of the fishes. So lipids, they are really very, very important. They are acting as the source of essential steroids. They are needed for the development of the fishes, and they are acting as the important biological agent for the transport of the nutrients, for the construction of the cells, as the integrity of the cells. They are all playing important role, these fats. And when these fats, they are used in the diet of the fishes, they act as a very good lubricant, and it helps in the passage of feed material in the digestive tract, especially for the formation of pellets. When the fat is used in the diet, the pellet formation is very, very good, and use of fat reduces the dustiness of the feed. That is very beneficial effect of the fat. And moreover, besides all these factors, these fats in the diet improves palatability of the feed, and because of that, the ingestion of the feed material, the intake of the feed material in the fishes increases, and which increases their growth and performance. Now, energy is one component, but the major component of the fat used in the diet of the fishes, that is supply of fatty acids. If we see the classification of different fatty acids, the major component is saturated fatty acid. As the name indicates, they are saturated. They won't have double bond. The initial first carbon is methyl group, and the last carbon is carboxylic acid, and in between CH2. So it becomes a saturated fatty acid, mostly butyric acid, caproic acid, capric acid, lauric acid, and so on, myristic acid, palmitic acid, many one. So these are saturated. Simply they act as a source of energy. Next one is monounsaturated fatty acid. Example is palmitoleic acid, the oleic acid. Another very important fatty acids required for the fishes, they are PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids. And these PUFA, usually they have more than 2 double bonds in them, and they are mostly of omega-6 series. Example is linoleic acid series, and best example is linoleic acid. Besides these, there are HUFA. They are the part of PUFA, no doubt. Highly unsaturated fatty acids. They contain more than 4 double bonds, and mostly they are the omega-3 fatty acids, and they are mainly the part of linoleic acid series. That is important one. If you see the structure of MUFA, that is one oleic acid, you can say, you must, as a student, you must also know the structure of these fatty acids. Omega means when the number starts from first carbon, and that is methyl. So here, in case of MUFA, 18 carbon compound has only one double bond in the 9th carbon. So simply straight chain, double bond in the 9th carbon, and when the counting will start from the first carbon, that is methyl group, it is called as omega-9 fatty acid. Similarly, you see the example of linoleic acid. It is again 18 carbon compound with 2 double bonds at 6 carbon and 9 carbon, and that's why it is called as omega-6 fatty acid. You see the structure, double bond in the 6th carbon and another double bond in the 9th carbon. Then you see the structure of arachidonic acid, very important fatty acid. It is 20 carbon compound having 4 double bond and starting from 6 carbon, 9 carbon, 12 carbon and 15 carbon. They have double bond. Similarly, see the structure of alpha-linolenic acid. This alpha-linolenic acid, it has again 3 double bonds, 18 carbon compound, and double bond in the 3rd, 6th and 9 carbon. So by simply remembering the number of carbon and double bond position, you can write the structure of these essential fatty acid. Now, among HUFA, one of the most important is icosapentaenoic acid. 20 carbon compound, 5 double bond, and it is omega-3 fatty acid. The double bonds are in 3, 6, 9, 12 and 15th position. Another most important UPA is docosahexaenoic acid. And in this docosahexaenoic acid, it has 22 carbon compound, 6 double bonds at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18. So simply by remembering the carbon structure, that is the carbon position, double bond position, number of carbon, you can prepare the structure of all these fatty acids. So dear students, you have seen that the lipids, they are very important for the fit diet, either as a source of energy or as a source of essential fatty acids. And among the essential fatty acids, the PUFA, that is the icosapentaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid, they are very, very important for the fish growth and its development. So they must be included in the diet of the fishes in proper proportion. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next part of the requirement of the fat and fatty acid for the fishes. Thank you very much.